So ever since last time that Michael and I made a video about our coworkers, I have been getting comments nonstop in videos that don't even pertain to the similar situation or similar story types. Just in random videos, I've been getting comments. When are you going to bring Michael back? Does he have a channel? Where can I find him? Where can I find more Michael? And I decided it's about time that we do bring Michael back because I love talking to him. I don't get to as much as I used to. And I think these videos are the most we talk voice to voice. But we're back again. Go ahead and say hello, Michael.
Hello, people. How
People.
are we tonight?
And we're going to tell some more Walmart stories because that's the common ground that we have. So the first one that I wanted to tell, I actually wanted to tell this one last time when we were talking about Andrew because it's actually about Andrew.
There's
So,
so much stuff about Andrew that it's hard to even keep thinking about
right,
it.
right. Like, they just keep coming back to you and you're like, oh my God, he did this too. But
Yeah.
okay, so we had a girl named Miranda who we worked with, and Miranda, before I had taken off, got pregnant. And one day, she's sitting there doing her job, and she feels her stomach, and she's like, ooh, the baby kicked, right? So Andrew walks up to her and he goes, hey, don't worry about being pregnant. I've delivered a baby before, and I know what to do. he, goes, he, he goes, don't worry about it. I've delivered a baby before, and I know what to do. You'd be in safe hands. And she goes, oh, okay, really? And he goes, yeah, but don't ask me about it. And she goes, no, I'm sure that's a really difficult thing to talk about. I couldn't believe he had the balls to walk up and say some of the things that he did. Oh God! But that cracked me up. Like, she told me that story right after it happened. I was like, did he say he would give birth? Yeah, apparently he's done it before in war. And he made up some story like he had to do it with a dull what did he say? Like a dull Mossad knife or something that he had taken from someone he had killed. Like, he had just killed them, and one of his fellow Marines, Special Forces Black Ops, was actually pregnant, and like she started to give birth. I was like, wait a minute, how do you get into the Marines being pregnant?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's two and two don't make four here, but I guess she snuck in, because we know he told the truth. He was very, very adamant about the truth, and I guess he, took that dull knife and made that incision and delivered her baby and got them all out of there as safe as possible. So how much safer can you be with a guy like that? But it was funny too because even after he had said, "Don't ask me about it," he started telling her the story.
He does that so many times.
I know. Like, what even is that? Don't ask me about it. It's like, okay, I obviously know you're fishing for me to ask. But you just stayed silent. He's like, all right, let me tell you this story. Oh, man.
Honestly, I got one too that I really wanted to mention the first video.
Yeah, go for it.
So, you remember co-manager Joe, right?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so it was like almost 11. It was almost time for us to go home, and Andrew was pulling a pallet, and Joe was doing something at the doctor's desk. I don't remember what.
I already know this is
Andrew
going to be so good.
Kind of. Andrew walks up to him and says, "Yeah, man, today's been so stressful. I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go home and get wasted tonight." And co-manager Joe just looked at it. He set down his paper and looked at him, and he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about because I'm 10 years sober, and I haven't looked back." I bit my thumb because I did not want to laugh, and I just walked away as fast as possible.
Oh my God! How did he do that so well? Like, he always knew the wrong thing to say.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It's his gift. I
Like,
guess.
it was almost like the polar opposite of charming, that's what he was.
Yeah.
The polar opposite. I don't know what the synonym for charming or the antonym for charming is, but that's what he was.
Yeah.
That's what he was. Ah, God. You know, speaking of Joe, you know my worst, like the worst boss that I think we had. And I'm not talking in the long run, like the grand scheme. I'm
Yeah.
talking like when I first got there, the worst boss was Michelle.
Yeah.
I did not like Michelle, and especially and don't get me wrong, I understand that she was going through a divorce and she was trying to get custody of her kids, and of course she was taking that out on us, which I didn't think was very cool. But what can I do, you know? But
Yes. They say don't bring your work in, but it's not easy
right,
for
right.
anyone. But anyway,
Um,
continue.
well, um, one day, Kyle and I were working. She had actually come up to us. She was in a very angry mood, and she had come up to Kyle and I and said, "Hey, those idiots, night guys, they left a bunch of this freight, and I need you guys to top stock it in the back room." Okay, not a big deal. So we walked back there, and Kyle asked me, okay, he asked me this question: "What do you think you and I are gonna do when we're done top stocking?" Because he had no idea, because we hadn't started our job out there. Someone had taken over our job. So what were we going to do at the end? And I was like, I don't know. We'll just ask Michelle when, you know, she comes back in. And Michelle she turns the corner and says, "No talking today." Straight up. Straight up did that. Like I was a kindergartner or something. Like I was some child. And and Kyle's exact words, like he looked at me. He looked at me with the straightest face. "She just pissed me off." Like he was very upset, and he goes, "If she wasn't going through a divorce, I would have I would have walked down, told her I quit, and punched her in the face." Like I was not happy. Like I was not happy. That cracked me up though. I was like, "Wow, you got to be kidding me though."
I'm glad you mentioned the co-manager Michelle, because I have a story that's
Okay.
a bit of the antithesis of yours.
Yeah.
All right, you don't know Brittany, I don't think, right?
Your girlfriend?
I wouldn't call her a girlfriend, but yeah.
Your ex.
I wouldn't call her an ex either. I don't know what she was.
Okay, right, yeah.
Anyway, okay, so she was doing brake packs, and I was, you know, how we just keep bringing brake packs. So I was bringing my brake pack to her, and she was like, "Hey, what do you want for lunch? Because I need to pay you back." And I was like, "I would like a dick because I don't have." And she stopped for a second, and then she was thinking, like, "Well, what kind of dick? Like a black dick? You don't need a red one, a purple dick? I don't know."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, I don't freaking know. What kind of dick do you like?" And I walked away. And then co-manager Michelle walked up to her, and she was like, "That's super inappropriate. If you talk like this, I'm gonna have to coach you."
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We're in the back room.
She was at the DSD desk, like the desk right behind that.
Yeah. I always hated that. Like she was so uptight, even in the back room. Like I understand if we're out on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, our bosses talk to us like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, why are you so uptight back here? You know, like let loose a little bit. It's good for your health. You know what I mean?
She's Catholic, like super Catholic, like Nikolai is. Well, actually, he's not. I guess I can't call him a super Mormon. You know, like those religious zealots do no
Radicalistic.
evil.
Yeah.
You know what I'm. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, not to badmouth them, but Michelle or Nick, but yeah, Michelle was really one of those uptight Christians or Catholic.
I don't
Same
know.
thing, really.
That still just annoys
Yeah.
me because you know, whatever. But no, that cracked me up. And then you remember Denise, the manager Denise?
Oh God.
Okay, now, when I said that Michelle was the worst, that's when I started. Denise, the entire time, was easily the worst, like, doubled, tripled Michelle, like, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Like, there was a day, you know the music that played over the intercom? And it was, like,
Yeah.
always the same music, and it was
I want to
terrible. Okay,
kill
so,
myself.
yeah. So she walks in one day. She walks in, angriest look I've ever seen on her face. She's hunched over. And this, okay, imagine, you know those women, no offense, you know those women who are big and buffy and look like men?
Yeah.
That was her.
We work
Okay.
with two of them.
Right, we
So.
did, we did. So, yeah, that was her. She was very, very, like, lumberjacky. You know what I mean? Like, it's just very. Anyway, but she walks in very, very angry. She's like taking up the whole hallway, which she didn't have to do because the hallway was long enough. But she was just in that mood where you can go around me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she looks at me. I'm at my locker, and I turn and I look at her. She's stomping down the hallway, and she goes, "I hate music." Like, that's
Yeah.
just it. That was it. I hate music.
That's what makes you do that, though. That music.
Oh, I know.
I can almost sympathize, but
No, but like, I had never, like, my entire, almost my entire career at Walmart, the 10 months that I spent there, never, not one time did I see her smile. But I saw her laugh harder than I've almost ever seen anyone else laugh before. And I'll tell you this story because I don't know if you were there for it. Okay.
I don't think so.
So one day, okay, we're in Walmart, and Cody had let a bird in Walmart. So there was this bird. It was a pigeon, and it was flying around in the back room, right? So Cody grabs a broomstick handle, takes the broomstick or the broom head off of it, and starts tossing it up at the bird. You know, trying to make it fly out the door, which Denise, the evil troll Denise, was holding open, right? So he's chucking this thing up there, and she says, "Look, don't kill the bird, just scare it. Don't get too close to it." And he's like, I'm not going to kill the bird. I just want to, you know. So he throws this stick, and something caught his attention. So, like, he throws it, and like, as soon as it, like, almost before he lets go, he kind of turns a little bit, so the thing doesn't go where he actually anticipated it would.
Yeah.
And it hits the bird right in the bottom of its chin, like, instantly breaking its neck. Right? The bird falls to the floor, dead, and Denise is dying. I'm talking, I've never seen her smile before,
Oh,
but
God,
this
that's
bird
creepy.
dying, this bird dying made her laugh harder than I've ever heard almost anyone laugh before. And she sits there and looks at Cody, and she's like holding back tears. "I told you not to kill it." And she's just dying. I was like, what a heartless, malevolent person. She's just evil. I couldn't believe it. But, like, that was who she was. That was who our managers were. You know what I mean? Like, back at Walmart,
Yeah.
that was who they were. You know? Like, I was just in constant shock from what the man, especially, that was my first real job, so I didn't know how managers were supposed to treat you. And I move over to my new job, and I'm like, I'm treated like a human being here.
Are you
know what I mean?
really?
Yeah!
Huh.
Yeah. Are you not?
Yes and no. I mean, there's the one assistant manager. It reminds me a lot like Denise and Billy.
Okay. Yeah, no,
She's
like,
not a complete jerk face, but she does get on my nerves sometimes.
yeah. Like, I mean, the most annoying thing that I can say happens at the job that I work is, the managers will come up to me and like, almost overly concerned if I'm okay. Like, my safety and my happiness are, like, the biggest things on their mind, and I was just, like, blown away.
Huh.
Yeah.
And Fred Meyers isn't union, is it?
No. Well, half of it is and half of it's not.
That's weird. How does that work?
The cash registers are, and the meat department, like a food stand and stuff, are, but then the rest of it's not.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's
I
cool
wish
stuff though.
freaking
Like.
Safeway was like that then.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It's either you're union or you don't work.
Yeah. No, I hear ya. Union sucks too.
On it, people try to defend it, but I just see nothing but bad.
Mm-hmm.
It
No.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
it keeps shitty employees employed.
Yeah, it does. Oh yeah, like Alicia and Andrew and
Well,
Jesse. They'd
she's still
all
working
been.
there, so
No, no.
she got fired.
She moved to Panda Express. Oh no, she works overnights. She works
Oh.
Panda Express in the day and works overnights at Walmart.
How the hell did she pull that off?
No idea. I have no idea. She was a vampire pretty much though. Like
She does realize she can't get on her phone at Panda, right?
I have no idea. Like she was one of those. Okay, so get this. Okay, I don't know if you knew this. This is a little bit personal. From her, dating the guy she was dating, right? She would get off work. So we would work to a 2 to 11 shift. She would get off work at 11 o'clock. She would go home, do homework. She's only like, what, 17?
Really, I didn't know that.
I don't know. Maybe she's 18. I don't know. But she'd go home and because she's trying to get her GED, right? So she goes home. She does schoolwork, and then she drives. Like after she gets done with her work, she drives to her boyfriend's, and you know what they do until like 4 o'clock in the morning. Then drives back home so her mother and father aren't curious because her family's Catholic.
Does she like play Scrabble with them?
Yeah, she plays. yeah. She plays Scrabble with him till like 4 in the morning. You
I
know.
figured.
Yeah.
That's what Brittany and I did.
Yeah. You have some stories about Alicia, yeah?
I have a story. Well, I have a few, but only one I remember
Okay.
definitively. And this was actually a good segue. All right, so I just came back from my leave of absence,
Right.
and Alicia actually has been working there for like a month. I remember because I used to come in to visit, and I remember her working there. But but yeah, I just came back on my first day of unloading the truck. I think Jim was gone, or he was either gone or doing God knows what.
Right.
And it was just, the usual people minus you, because I don't think you were there. And so I figured she needed some hazing because that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
It's tradition. So, and I'm a man of tradition. I don't know about you.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, so
Yeah.
I did what Scott did to me. When she would pick up a box, I would walk up to her and I said, "Hey, Alicia." She's like, "What?" And I was like, "Boom!" And I smacked the box out of her hand. It was like, "You just dropped something. Okay, that's a trip hazard." She first looked at me dumbfounded, and I turned and walked away. And it actually became a game after a while. But yeah, I would just smack the boxes out of her hand every time.
I bet
And
you
then-
wish. I bet you wish you weren't smacking the boxes out of her hand, huh?
Yeah, right. She has a good handful down there. I'm not gonna lie.
God.
No, and sometimes she would actually do something more clever than I thought was possible from her.
Yeah.
She would stack the boxes up, and then, oh no, this is the funniest part. She stacked the boxes up to grab it and just bring it all on the pallet.
Yeah.
And I saw the slagging, so I just slammed the boxes hella hard down into her pile, and they all came falling down.
Yeah.
She gave me the death stare, and I was like, "What? You have to push it down." And then Homer behind me was like, "No, you gotta push it down. It gotta be pushed down."
Yeah.
That was like the coolest thing Homer's ever done.
Oh man, no, Homer was the best. Like
Yeah.
Homer was the no nonsense guy. Like he was never into any nonsense. And it took me so long, it took me months for him to start joking around with me because he's not the kind of guy. Like his back room,
Yeah.
what went from middle-aged men around his age to a bunch of kids. Like, it ended up being a daycare, and he hated that. He didn't want to work
Yeah.
with kids, and we all
No.
acted like kids.
He was actually really nice to me my first day. Everyone was just being a dick, and he was just like, you're doing fine, Mike. You're doing fine.
Yeah,
Just keep going. You'll get it, buddy."
yeah.
And
No, and
man,
that's pretty cool. He was a cool guy.
I don't remember everything that I said. Do you remember Jordan, the red-haired lady that used to date Trent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what I was saying, but I made Homer so laugh. I made Homer laugh so hard
Yeah.
when we're in the break room because I was just harassing Jordan sexually, and it was just a good time.
Oh my god. You remember Mike? He would tell me stories all the time. Like, he'd sit there, and we would just be sitting there at lunch, and all of a sudden he'd go, "Hey, you guys want to hear a story?" And be like, "Yeah." He goes, "So I was in bed with this girl once, right?"
Yeah, I was like, okay, I don't want to hear it.
And we were like, "Wait, what?" And he'd sit there. He told me this exact story, right? It's not that bad, but he'd sit there. He'd go like this. So I'm in bed with this girl once, right? We're kind of just making out, kind of fooling around a little bit, and she looks at me, and she goes, "You know, you're really attractive." And then she pulls my glasses off and she went, "Oh my god, never mind, you're super hot." I was like, that didn't happen because you look like you just got hit by a truck, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's not the prettiest looking dude. Like, oh man. But no, on the subject of Alicia though, because we were on that subject, I actually, when I first met her, she had been with a guy named Tony, right? And then she switched and got with a different guy, okay? But I ended up, because she had come to me and said, "Hey, I love my boyfriend. I've been with him for like 2 years. I love him, and I want to be with him forever. But there's this new guy." And I was like, what a retarded thing to say. If you love the guy you're with, then you wouldn't be saying, "But there's this new guy."
No,
okay?
you wouldn't.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't even have thought. But anyway, so she continues. So there's this new guy, and the other day, the new guy kissed me. So I think I'm going to dump my boyfriend and be with this new guy, Eddie. I'm going to be with Eddie. And I was like, okay. And she goes, "What do you think about that?" I was like, "Well, let me tell you what's going to happen. Okay?" Because the way I like to do, especially with people who are unintellectual, very,
Yeah.
very low on that totem pole, I like to give them the right advice. And then if they don't take it, I give them the wrong advice and then tell them exactly what's going to happen and watch it as it happens. Okay? So I called this the Alicia dichotomy. Okay? What had happened is I said, "Look, here's what's going to happen. Alicia, you're going to get with this guy, and it's just not going to work out. You're going to want to go back to the guy you're with. Just don't do it. Don't do it, okay?" And she's like, "No, but the thing is, look, I think I really want to be with him." I was like, "How about this then, okay? Here's what I want you to do. Break up with your boyfriend tonight. Get with Eddie, okay, and date him." She goes, "You know what? You're right. That's what I think I'm going to do." And I said, "Wait, I'm not done. Here's what's going to happen, okay? I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen." And she goes, "Okay, here's what's going to happen. You're going to break up with Tony. He's going to be heartbroken. He's going to ask and beg for you back. It's not going to happen because you're Twitter-pated with this new guy." Stealing a line from Bambi there, but you're Twitter-pated with this guy, right? You like him, so you're going to get with him, right? You don't know this guy. You're not friends with him first. All of a sudden, he just kissed you. This shows me he has no self-respect. He has no, or not self-respect. He has no respect for you. He's just going to, knowing you have a boyfriend, he's still going to just grab you anyway. Like, obviously, he's a great guy. So, yeah, you're going to get with him eventually. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's going to take maybe a month or two. You're going to be with this guy, and it's just not going to work out. You're going to have regrets. You're going to wish you could go back to Tony. And then Tony's going to take you back. You're going to end up breaking it off with Eddie. Tony's going to take you back. But because no longer can he trust you, that relationship isn't going to work out anymore. So you and Tony aren't going to be able to be together anymore because of that. So because you've done this with Eddie, you and Tony can never get back together. You're going to be single. And I know girls like you, that doesn't work out well. And I called that the the Alicia dichotomy. And step by step, it worked out the very same way I had predicted. And in like 3 months, she had dumped Eddie, tried to get back with her old boyfriend, but I was wrong. He didn't take her back. I guess he tried for like 2 days and then was like, no, I don't want this anymore. I found someone else. And then she had to go find her new boyfriend. And I was just like, it wasn't hard. It was predictable. I didn't say anything because I'm a genius. It was so easy to see this coming.
Yeah.
Like, are you that dumb? Are you that shallow of a person? Like, and she was. I just thought it was a great experience. Like, it was actually a lot of fun every day, her coming up to me and saying I was wrong, and then telling me, by the way, I don't think things are working out with Eddie. You know, it's just not going real well. Here's this and that. He's just really destructive. He's poisonous. We're both toxic. You know, and I'm sitting there like, what? Are you kidding me? But I mean, that was just my little story to share with Felicia. Like, that was just, God, the kind of people we worked with. You know, like sometimes I just wondered why was I in the back room with these people?
Honestly, that little Mexican started to grow on me, though. Like,
what do you mean by that?
I don't know. I guess I was getting used to her now. I remember, I think it was Cody and I, and it might have been you and not Cody, but you remember the latest trend from the Walmart managers about not letting us have our headphones in?
Yeah.
I swear to God, me and Cody had to tell Alicia every 2 minutes to take the headphones out of her ear, cover her ears up with her hair.
Oh, I know.
And I was like, Alicia, you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. Because that was one of those, like, 2 times you're terminated things, you know, like,
yeah,
that wasn't something they were lenient on. And you know what the thing was, is most of the time she wasn't listening to music.
No.
Most of the time she was on the phone talking to her boyfriend.
Oh my God.
Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah. She'd be on the phone half the time talking with her boyfriend.
No, she was just goofing off and dancing that one time I was talking about, but
I couldn't believe it. And, like, she wasn't the worst. Like, do you remember Connor?
Yeah, I was gonna segue into Connor, yeah.
Yeah.
Connor.
Do you have a story about him? Because I did. I was gonna...
It might be the same story, I don't know.
Continue. You do it. I just told that story. You tell it.
I just remember Connor flipping out on Rachel for being told about his headphones. And then he just fucking threw shit at her and stormed off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that when he got fired?
Yeah, that was when he got fired.
That was the day he got fired. You know, he was hitting... Yeah, he was hitting up.
Him and,
He and
who was
Steven.
that other guy? Steven? Yep, Steven.
They were on the heroin.
Yeah, I guess, who caught them juicing in the bathroom? I don't remember.
It was, oh man, I can't remember his name. But I know who, yeah, because he saw the shoes and he heard this.
Oh.
You know, and he saw, like, the silhouette shaking and jabbing something into his arm. And then, like, later out of the bathroom, he saw Connor's shoes. And he was like, those are the same shoes that I saw in the bathroom.
Okay.
So he was like, I think Connor is shooting up. And I was sitting there like, yeah, well, he definitely is. I know for a fact he is.
Oh, I remember the first time Andrew, like, it's not a particularly good story, but it reminds me of the first time Andrew was working in the back room. Austin thought he was juicing.
What?
Yeah, because when I was doing break packs, Andrew kind of did look like he was tweaking a bit, but Austin walked up to him. He's like, I gotta just take the Dr. Stock items because it looks like this guy's high on something. I don't want anything to become missing. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, well,
Wow.
Do what you need to do, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess Andrew could have pulled off that persona. I mean, he did really look.
He did, and just the things that he would say, the crazy "I'm an alien," whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was big, he was sweaty, he was, his hair was never washed. I mean, his entire body was never washed.
Like he didn't seem high to me though. That's he. I mean, he did talk like a freaking nut, but he didn't really
Yeah,
seem high.
yeah. Do you remember that time? What was that guy's name? It was the black door greeter.
Leroy.
Okay,
He was actually a
Leroy.
nice guy, but
I no
continue.
no no. He is. No, he definitely was. I just had a bad experience with him, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of my viewers are gonna love this story because it pertains to a lot of the topics that I normally talk about.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
so like what the heck? So I designed my own PC Master Race sweatshirt, and I wanted to make it as pretentious as possible without getting myself beat up. Like that was my goal when making the PC Master Race sweatshirt. And what it said on the front was PC Master Race, may your frame rates be high and your temperatures low. And then on the back it said, this is the realm of Master Race, no peasants allowed. And one day I walked in and he had seen the back of my sweatshirt. And he goes, Master Race, huh? I was so terrified because
Yeah.
because not only did my mind instantly went to, oh my god, I'm German, the Aryan Master Race, I'm white, this is not good. I didn't know what to say. How do you sit there to someone, because he was an older dude, how do you sit there and say, no, it's about technology, it's about computers. How do you say that? You know what I mean? Like, that almost sounds like a shallow excuse.
Right.
And when I did say, no, PC Master Race, it's about computers, like it's PCs against above consoles and stuff like that. I was trying so hard, like I was, not very coherent too, because I was just like, oh my god, what have I gotten myself into? And he just went there, like he had that look on his face, like he did not believe me. And he was like, all right. So, like, every time I saw he was there, I would take that sweatshirt off and, like, bundle it up. I would not wear it when he was around because I was actually afraid of what he would think. Because I knew he was a nice guy, But he did not like me
I guess not.
because of that very, because of that very thing. Did not like me. You told me, because I wanted to talk about more of our co-workers. I was going to go into Thomas, but you said that you had stories about Chad.
Oh yeah, Chadward. That guy. Oh man. I guess he's funny and really cool outside of work, so this might just be a bad experience, but first of all, you know what people say about him. He's never in the department he works. Like he's never there. He always just fucking wanders off.
Yeah,
And does
no,
God knows what.
I remember people saying that he was lazy, and if he was ever in my department, just remember that you'd be a man down because he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
That's what I was always told, but I never got to know him well enough.
So when he is in the department, he still fucks shit up.
Okay, continue. How so?
So this is just like he doesn't know any of the products. He doesn't know about TV refresh rate, resolution, none of it.
Okay.
And that's kind of fine because a lot of the people that usually ask for help at Walmart doesn't know what the hell they're looking for
Right,
anyway.
they're not looking for a TV with specific parameters for that, because like you don't think of a gaming TV, or
No.
you don't go there to find a particular computer monitor or TV at Walmart.
Right,
Like
if you're-
that's a very
yeah.
lackluster place to go to find electronics that are actually decent. So
Yeah. And for the most part, it's fine. But he
Right.
also doesn't know shit about gaming. Okay. And
Okay.
we have this particular customer who he was kind of frequent, and I was relatively new.
Mhm.
And he walks up to me and he was like, so, and he was asking about Titanfall. I'm sure you've heard about Titanfall.
Yeah, I've heard about Titanfall. Yeah.
He was like, so if I buy Titanfall, I don't have to play this online. And oh, before I get into that, Chad, whenever I'm with the customer, he always butts in. And because he has your personality but not smarts, he's able to get the people to trust him more.
Oh, no, I remember he was very, very. Wow, how do I say that now? Describing him, he was very charismatic. He was very charismatic. He knew how to talk to people. He was definitely a people person. But I do agree
Yeah.
what you say, because I did have conversations with the guy, and as charming as he did lack a lot of intellect. And I always feel bad about saying something like that, because who am I to judge anyone else's intelligence? You know what I mean?
Right.
But you can tell, you know? You can tell. And I just especially don't like those people who say things so incorrect and so confidently.
I have another story about him, but I'll get to the other one later.
Okay. So continue. Continue.
Yeah, okay. So, anyway, the guy was talking to me about Titanfall. He said, hey, listen, if I buy this game, I don't have to play this online, right? I mean, there's a campaign on it, and I was like, no, that you cannot play this game offline. It's strictly multiplayer.
Right.
And, Chad just walks up and was like, oh, I'm sorry, this guy is new. He doesn't. The Titanfall, and I've played this personally. He was like, Titanfall, it does have a campaign to it. But you're able to do it co-op and online. And I was like, no, listen, Chad, no. This is strictly the campaign, and I quoted my fingers like Dr. Evil. And I was like, the campaign is strictly online. And he turned the case around and was like, look, campaign, co-op, and I don't know how he worded it, but he convinced the guy to buy Titanfall.
Even though the guy had specifically asked.
Yeah, he's like, I hate playing online competitive. I just want a good first-person shooter and a good campaign like Call of Duty. And I was like, but yeah, he kept talking to him and he was convincing him, and I was like, dude. And I looked at Chad and I was like, this is going to be your fault, and I'm going to tell everyone that.
Yeah.
And I walked off.
You said that.
And lo and behold, yeah. And lo and behold, the next day,
Ooh.
he came to return the game. And customer service, because we're not allowed to return games. And I was like, and I was just so happened to be the one called there. And I looked to them and was like, I know our policy states we can't return games, but Chad specifically told him he can play this game offline when I specifically said it was online only. And so he was convinced to buy the wrong game. So we really need to at least refund him the money back, which was $40 at the time. And so I was able to get him a new game, but he would only come to me
Right.
asking for which game.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, they could have been really bad if I wasn't there.
No, yeah. I mean, that guy would have had a ton of.
Yeah, he was a nice guy too. That's the problem.
I had someone do that at Fred Meyer. God, I hate people like that. It's annoying, because it's for the customer,
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about people who want to talk about things that they don't understand.
Honestly, it's part of the training. Like Mandy would even be saying, she's like, yeah, you got to be confident in knowing what you're talking about. So you just got to be able to sell the product, and that's kind of their stance. But
Good Lord.
because of stuff like that, it's not an ideal way to do.
Jeez. We seriously did have some frickin' characters work at Walmart with us, man. Like, seriously. Like, I mean, we talked about Connor, frickin' Thomas. I did want to talk about... Okay, so Thomas, the first week that I was there, I think I told you this last time, the first week that I was there, Thomas said, hey, Barry, I've already planned your death.
Yeah, you did, but I don't think it was on the
He told me
podcast.
that. I've already planned your death. And I was like, what? What? And it was a joke. Like, to him, it was a joke. It was a joke. Because you know the kind of guy he was. Like, he didn't actually mean it.
Yeah.
He did mean it as a joke for me to laugh at. But it was a week in. I don't know the kid. And, like, as time went on, we'd be sitting there on the belt. All of a sudden, he'd just say my name. He'd just say my name out of the blue. And I guess, like, I went back there a while ago. He still says my name to this day, at least twice a day. Says my name. He told me when I went back there, he goes, "Hey, Barry, I need to get a cardboard cutout of you because now that you're gone, I really miss you, and I'd really like to be able to talk to somebody." And I was like, "We never talked." What? Why are you talking to a cardboard cutout of me? What
Dude,
was that?
people did have a lot of, like, it was weird about some people's obsession, like Tyler, freaking Thomas.
Tyler was nuts. Okay,
Yeah.
Tyler was not like the first day I met him. And okay, look, before I continue on, I don't know why I have this curse, but I have a curse where girls won't talk to me, but guys will, okay? And like all the guys in the back room, they had a crush on me. Besides a few, you didn't, and I don't think Cody ever did. Cody definitely
No.
didn't. Cody was a cool guy. Like there were a lot
Yeah.
of people who didn't, but it was the first day, okay? The very first day, Tyler comes on and he's supposed to be our new lead. And he comes on and he starts working in my aisle. When I had a low cart, like I didn't have anything going on. He comes into my aisle and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" He goes, "Oh, just getting to know my new coworkers. I have to keep an eye on you." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" He goes, "It's always the smooth talkers I got to keep an eye out for." And I was like, "What the heck?" Okay, thanks for the compliment. He's like, "Yeah, no problem. So tell me a little bit about yourself." And I didn't think it was weird. I'm telling him a little bit about myself. He's like, "I'm married." And I was like, "Oh, right on." I guess, he he was gay at one time and then
Yeah.
went back to being straight once I guess he said once he saw boobs, he went straight and then like he met his wife and they got married and then he thinks on and off about trading up for a guy. And he was telling me this and I was like, "Okay, wait a minute. Have you talked to your wife about you being attracted to guys?" And he goes, No, I don't tell this to anybody." It's the first day you and I are talking. Why are you telling me? If you don't tell anybody this, why are you telling me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not very many reasons as to why you would do that. God, it creeped me out, and it's like it happened all the time. Like,
I
continue.
I was just gonna say, I know poor Gary really dislikes Tyler.
Who? Oh,
Gary?
Gary, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary did not like Tyler at all.
I mean, I honestly, I wasn't with you guys during that time, so
Yeah.
I only worked with Tyler on Trailer Crew, and
Yeah.
it wasn't that
I
bad.
mean, you
So
saw the difference though when he was around me.
yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
he was like, "Oh my God." You should have seen when Jim would say, "Hey Barry, you're throwing truck with Tyler today." Tyler would turn and give me the most aroused smile I've ever seen, and he'd go, "Are you ready to be alone in the truck with me, Barry?"
Oh my
I was
god.
like, "Oh God, I so hope this is a joke."
No.
It was
Inc- Incidentally, if Jim ever became lead again, I would quit. I would move back up north
yeah,
because, dude, I love Jim. He's like the
yeah.
greatest.
I don't think there's anything in the entire world that could actually make me go back to Walmart.
Dude, I like a boss. I respect a boss that sticks up for his subordinates.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the bottom
No, and I
line.
hear that. I definitely hear that. But like being where I am now and experiencing what I
Yeah.
did there, it's not even a contest. Like it's not even slightly a contest. It is just it's so much better now.
Oh, I
And I get
see.
paid more.
Do
Yeah,
you?
I made $10 there. I make 10.30 here.
Huh, I get paid more at Safeway. Well, no, I don't get paid more at Safeway because I have union dues. And Walmart, you get the bonuses. So
Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
true. We don't get bonuses at Fred Meyer.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because honestly, I had the funnest time working with Jim. Good old Jim, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I could literally, as long as I'm doing my job, I could do anything I wanted. It was
Mm-hmm.
a
Yeah, Jim was
blast.
cool. Jim, that's because he understood. You know, he worked from the
Yeah,
bottom up. He understood. You know. Someone,
gotta make it fun.
someone. It was during your leave of absence. Someone that you did not get to meet was Jesse.
Oh yeah,
And
Jesse,
Jesse,
the infamous
yeah,
Jesse.
Jesse was one of the biggest characters that we met. And when I say character, I do not mean that as a term of endearment. I mean that as he was one of the creepiest, strangest dudes. Okay, let me put this into perspective here. Okay, we'd sit down at lunch. Okay, didn't hardly know him. Sit down at lunch. Okay, he walks up and he
hmm
goes, "Hey guys, so I just wrote some poetry that I really wanted to share with you guys." And you know, we didn't want to be rude. We're like, okay, sure. You know what? We'll just kind of sit here, eat lunch, and you can read your poetry. The entire lunch, he was reading one poem. The entire lunch, he's reading one poem, and then at the end, we're like, all right, time to go back to work. He's like, okay, I'll just finish it up later.
And he probably
He
did.
did every
Oh
time.
god.
I was like, oh my god. And now that in itself, okay, look, a guy who can take has that much patience and that much inspiration to write down poetry, that is something you don't see every day, right? That's a little admirable,
True.
but the way he would interact with female coworkers was not okay. And what I mean by this is we had a girl named what was her name?
Denise?
No, no. This is before
Then I
Denise.
don't
This is
know.
before Denise. Um, I can't remember her name.
Heather?
No. It was some. It was
Roxanne?
someone you didn't know.
Oh, someone I
It was
didn't
someone you
know.
didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think her name was Natalie, if I'm not mistaken. It was Natalie. And I just met her, and she comes up to me and she goes, "What do you think about that Jesse guy?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because I hadn't even met him. She goes, "The other day, I was sitting there stocking cereal with him, and he grazed my butt." And I was like, "Okay, that happens all the time. He must have done it on accident." She goes, "No, he turned around, and he smiled at me and winked." And I was like, "Okay, that's a little weird. That's a little weird." He would walk up to random people, random girls, and ask for their numbers, and then he would write up text like this. I'd seen them all the time. He would write text like this. Hey, they wouldn't reply.
Oh my
They didn't
god.
reply in like 10 minutes. He'd go, "How are you?" And if they didn't reply, he'd say, "Come to my house." That was the next thing he would say. "Come to my house." And he'd write down the address. "Come to my house." He would talk to Denise all the time, and he would tell her like, "Hey, you want to go make out?" Like he'd text her up, "You want to go make out?" She'd be like, "No." He'd go, "You want to go have sex?" "No."
What the
No,
fuck?
seriously. Yeah. Like on lunchtime, he's like, "Hey, you want to go to my car and have sex?" And she's like, "No." and then and then he goes, "What if I paid you?"
Oh my god.
What if I paid you? He actually said that, and then one day walks up to her randomly, gives her $300, and says, "I'm just doing this because I care about my friends." And then, which $300 for no reason,
Yeah.
and then texts her up like an hour later and goes, "Hey, there's a lot more where that came from if you come over." Like the guy was a scumbag. He was a dirty, nasty, disgusting scumbag. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah,
just
that's so. Why didn't that lady, Natalie, let's just call her since that was the name given, go to management? Because that's fucking
I don't know. But the
it's
thing was, he would
crazy.
do it to Michelle as well. It got to a point where after he quit, I said, Michelle, do you remember Jesse? And she goes, we don't talk about him. Michelle.
Wow.
Michelle would say, we don't talk about Jesse. Because he would do the same stuff to her. He'd walk up to her and be like, hey, how you doing today? And she'd be like, oh, I'm okay. She wasn't going through, this wasn't her divorce or anything. She was just having problems with her husband at the time because this was far before. And he goes, oh, a woman who looks like you shouldn't have problems. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. He goes, seriously, if you were single. And she's like, that's not really company policy. He's like, oh, I wouldn't tell if you wouldn't. To
I wonder.
Michelle.
I wonder if Jesse didn't have any family in the higher ups. Because that is not something you would get away with if you didn't, to be honest.
Right. No, he didn't though. He didn't because I don't know, he had just come back from the Marines. He was actually in the military. He had been in the military. He was homeless for a
Oh,
couple of years, and then he got his military benefits, and then he quit Walmart because he was getting like some odd $1,000 a month.
damn.
Yeah, I mean, if you work in the military, you get pretty decent bonuses at the end of the month, and um, so I mean, he quit Walmart. He straight up yelled at Derek, "F this, I'm done," and 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 took off. Like, I think the most annoying thing about Jesse when it came to me, because I never had to experience that whole girl side of the thing. The most annoying thing when it came to me was he'd come up to me and he'd say, hey, what do you think about this girl over here? And I was like, yeah, she's kind of cute. And he'd go, I really like her. I was like, really? He goes, yeah, I really, really like her. I was like, okay, right on. He goes, I don't think I have a chance. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, that was really rude. What? What was really rude? He goes, what, you just don't think I have a chance with her? I was like, I wasn't saying anything. You said it. I wasn't even saying yes. I was acknowledging what you said. He goes, I just find it really disrespectful that people just look at other people and just judge based on their appearance what they can and can't have. Like I really like this girl and I would really like to be with her, but just my friends not having any confidence in me, that's just really, really annoying. And I was like, look, you know what? Whatever, man. I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't mean anything by it. I was just acknowledging what you were saying. Like an hour later, he'd come up to me and be like, hey, I kind of blew up a little bit back there. And I think I was emotionally attached, really. And I feel really bad.
Emotional attack.
Yeah, I feel really bad because I blew up at you and I just don't really feel like you deserved that. And I'm really sorry. And I was like, you know what? You're right. That's cool. Apology accepted, whatever. And he'd go, the thing was, it just sucked because, I really did like the girl and I just felt like you put me off. Like you looked at her and looked at me and just thought I had no chance. And I was like, I know you explained this entire thing before. And he goes, yeah, it's just like, and he'd get worked up again. And then he'd come back another hour later and go, hey, man, I'm really sorry. And I'm talking, the trend would not last a few hours. It would last weeks. Weeks. He would come back up and he'd go, hey, the other day when I was talking about that girl? And I was like, put it down. Shoot it in the head. It's done. Okay? It's done. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not apologizing about that anymore. I'm being really apologetic because I really want you to like me and I want you to be friends with me. And I don't think that I should be apologizing as much. And I'm sorry that I do that. I just really care about people, you know what I mean? And I do care about you as a person. And I'm like, oh my God, you're apologizing about apologizing. He's like, I know, I'm sorry. I don't mean to do that. I was like, stop apologizing. Frick, dude. Like,
Right?
God. And then he would do that every single time. And that's just the thing I had to deal with every day when it came to him. And I sit there and I look back on it and I'm like, I had to endure and put up with his BS for months. I had to deal with him. I didn't get $300.
No, you didn't.
No, I get nothing. I want my $300. Denise had to endure sexual harassment, but I had to listen to the annoying a-hole. Frick, I listened to his poetry. I listened to his war stories. And it wasn't like Andrew's. They were actually true. You know, he did not like to talk about it, Jesse. He did not like to talk about it. I was like, do you have PTSD? He goes, PTSD means a lot of things. It makes you feel weak, like I mean, that can be a number of different things. I was like, okay, did you see action? He goes, well, it really depends on what you mean by see action. I mean, some people saw a lot more than me, and some people, I didn't see as much as I did. He was really vague about it, and I was like, okay, did you kill a man? He goes, I don't really think that that's a question that anyone should ever ask another human being. And I was like, oh my God, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. And then he'd come back later on. He's like, I know you're curious about my life, and and then he'd apologize again. I was like, oh my God, like, what's the point in even talking to you? Like, where's my $300? Like, I want my $300. You know what I mean? It's just that guy. And then the last person, because I think that they're, when you think about this, men are so misogynistic, they're so chauvinistic, all they want is sex. When you think about a story like that, there was a girl, was almost the exact same as Jesse, not as creepy, and she'd do that crap to me.
Oh, I remember hearing that.
Yeah. So one day, okay, I'm going to tell the worst story last, actually. That was the best. One day she comes up to me, and she's like, hey, how you doing? I was like, I'm good. And she was this little chubby Mexican girl, wore a dog collar. Nothing wrong with that. It's just like, her personality was not my type, but she walked up to me all the time. She's like, I would make you my boyfriend, but I just don't think you'd like me. Ha ha ha. I was just like, you know what? I'm not really into that. But she came up to me one day and she goes, hey, so some guy was hitting on me. Some pig was hitting on me earlier. I just thought that was really stupid. And, I hate how guys just want to get in your pants and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, it really gives us all a bad name. It really does, because some of us aren't that way. Some of us are actually kind of cool, and some of us don't even want sex. You know what I mean? And she's like, that's why I like you. And if you ever wanted sex, just let me know. Blatant, just as blatant as that. Just as blatant as that. Like, okay, so one day, this is the bad story. One day, she walks in. She's talking about Jesse. She's like, Jesse just walks up to me and says that, he said this, if I put a leash around your collar, could I take you home? That was his pickup line. Okay? If I put a leash around your collar, could I take you home? And she goes, what are you, a dom? And he goes, no, I'm not a dom. Do you like doms? And she's like, a little bit. And he goes, yes, I'm a dom. And the whole thing carried out, and then eventually he got upset at her, and then she got upset and whatever. And anyway, so she comes up to me, and at this moment, I'm in the back room doing CBLs on sexual harassment. Okay? Those are my CBLs, sexual harassment CBLs. And she comes in and she goes, I just really wish that a guy like you could be on retainer for me. Like, anytime I wanted, I'd just have sex with a guy like you.
What the fuck is that? Oh my God.
I know. And she's sitting there. She's just like, I just, I wish you were open for that. And I was like, some guys are a little more, because I wasn't going to be rude. I was just that some guys are a little more respectable with their bodies, and they care about what happens with them and stuff like that. And she's like, yeah, and that's great. That's what I love. I just wish I could take your virginity. Like, just straight up, blatantly, the screen behind me said sexual harassment at work. And I was like, what is this conversation? Is God testing me? You know what I mean? Like, am I supposed to turn her in right now? What am I? God. It was just so weird. And when I say that Walmart was bad, both sides of the spectrum had both sides of the spectrum. Yeah. It wasn't just one of us suffered. We all did. And we all had these creepy, crazy people. I just didn't make sense.
So, to segue into a good part about the Walmart, or at least about our experience. Remember, all right, so remember when I used to get pissed off at people stacking the brake packs wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure you remember this part. All right, so this is when I came back from my leave of absence.
Yeah.
You might have been. I'm pretty sure you were there, but anyway, so we had a bunch of new people, and they're stacking my brake packs wrong. And I just came back, and I was getting pissed and pissed and pissed. And then Kyle, he walks over to me, and again he just throws his brake packs on the
Yeah. Oh, I
just
know where
throws
this is
it down
going.
after I got done stacking
Yeah.
it, and I picked up the brake pack and I was like, stack it fucking right, and I threw it at Kyle. I missed Kyle and it knocked down another pallet,
Yeah.
and he looked at me, and then Jim came up and was like, dude, you gotta stack it right, okay? It makes the job easier.
Yeah.
And he walked back
No,
off.
my God. No, no, because the thing was, okay. I didn't have a very good experience with new people, right? So, I'd barely known you beforehand because the only time I'd ever seen you was when you were dropping off brake packs. Which to put this out, brake packs is essentially when freight comes off the truck and it doesn't have its own box. So you take a box and put those things in the box, take those boxes and give it to the guy in control of brake packs, and then he takes everything out of those boxes and puts them in the right totes for the department, which is a hard job.
We basically sort everything.
Right. It's not a very fun job. It kind of sucks, and it is very tedious. It's a tedious job, and it just sucks. So making it as easy as possible. It's not fun to do, no, making it easy as possible, but it really does help the guy out. So that's what brake packs are. But I did not know you. I was there that day. I did not like walking up to the new people and saying hello, even though I knew you were not the new people because Mike Giorgetti was like on your wiener just all the time talking about you.
Yeah.
And no, yeah, he was like he was like, this is my best friend. He's my best friend. And the thing was, so I didn't care to get to know you. No offense to you, because you're a great guy. You're like one of my closest friends from work. But I didn't. But then I turn around and I had seen Kyle put that box down. And the only way I can describe it is this little hunchy, skinny kid grabs this box and throws it in the air, screaming at the top of his lungs. And it was the most amazing sight I'd ever seen in my entire life. And I was like, I want to get to know him. I want to get to know him. Because that was not the last time you did it.
No.
I had relished when I had heard you in the back. When you would say, guys, start stacking it right, and you'd start to get annoyed. My focus was on you. Because I knew you were going to explode eventually. Like, there was going to come a point, and I almost wanted to be the guy who did it, but I didn't. So, like, I'd wait.
Yeah, no.
I'd wait, because I'd stack it perfectly, and you'd be like, thank you. You know, because you and I, when we first started working together, like, all we did was compliment each other. I remember correctly. Because, like, we didn't even know each other, and you walked up, and you slapped me on the back, and you're like, you know, you're a good guy. And I was like, thanks, you are too. And we didn't even know each other, which I thought was pretty cool. But so I didn't want to ruin that, you know what I mean? And no, it's just the greatest thing was when you would throw a brake pack up in the air, everything would go flying everywhere. The guy who put the brake pack down there wrong had to go pick it up, and the boss would come over to your station and say, guys, he's right. That would crack me up, because if any manager, and I know it was Jim because Jim was awesome, but if any manager had come up and been like, whoa, what just happened? You'd have been done.
This is the thing, okay. So you've heard I got really sick during my leave of absence, right?
Yeah. No, you told me the entire story.
And this is why Jim got my back, because he saw me get really just like I just dropped to my knees and just fucking just was shaking with cold. And so he was like, dude, do you need to go home? And I was like, no, Jim, I just need to fight this, because honestly what it was is I just get this huge ass fever
Mm-hmm.
for like 5-10 minutes, and it would go away.
So you'd
I was like, no, yeah. And I was like, no, Jim, we don't have enough people for that. If you let me fight through this, I can come back and keep helping us do picks. I'm fine. You just got to give me a few minutes. And he's like, okay, buddy. And he just walked off, and I would fight the fever
right.
and then get back to work. And that's why I believe that's why Jim stuck up for me like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Because he knows I'm not trying to be a lazy prick.
Yeah. No, definitely not. No. You, myself, Cody were like one of the only, three of the only people who actually did their jobs and did it well. And like everyone else, oh my God, you remember Michael every single day. We would not have gotten this
Yeah.
done without me. Michael.
And he fucking leaves early
I know.
every chance he gets.
Yeah, and then like a more innocent one was Tyler. You know, and
Yep.
I say it was more innocent because he actually did do, I feel, his capacity, but he would sit there and congratulate himself and pat himself on the back. And Turbo, same thing with Turbo. He'd sit there and be like, God, without me, you guys wouldn't have been able to, you know, like I threw that truck like crazy. It's like, dude, you just threw a 1,500 in 2 hours. A 1,500 piece truck will take me 20 minutes. How could you possibly have, I don't know. But on the topic of lighthearted, we had this guy at Walmart. He was never in our department. But his name was Damon. And one thing that cracked me up about Damon was every day over the intercom, someone would call for Damien because that's what they thought his name was. And he'd ignore it. He would ignore it, knowing full well they were calling for him. And managers would walk up to him, like, giving him attitude, like, hey, we called you over the intercom. Where were you? And he goes, you didn't call me. And he goes, and they're like, what are you talking about? Yes, we did. He goes, I don't see no Damien. And you get, like, he get real attitudey with him. And I loved that. I love that no-care personality. But, and it was one day he got coached, too. He got procedural coached. You got 2 coachings. And he looked at the manager. I remember he looked at the manager, like, after they had coached him, and he goes, you know I'm not going to work now. And they're like, what? He goes, you know, I have no reason to. I wanted to move up. Now I have to wait a year to move up. Why would I work here? Why would I even try? And they're like, well, you better try, otherwise we'll fire you. Because, again, I don't care. So now there's no point in me working. And they're like, do you want us to fire you? He's like, no, I'll get paid for standing around. Which cracked me up. Like, he just didn't care. But one day, he walks in, and normally he walked in really serious face. He didn't, you know. But one day he walks in, and he does this, and this is the most amazing thing I've seen. Like, just the way he said it. But he walks in, and he's got his shoulders down. He's very chill, you know, very mellow. And he walks in, and he sits down right next to me, and he goes, man, I'm so at one with the earth today. And I started laughing because I thought he was high or something, you know. I thought he, like, smoked something before he came in. And I was like, yeah, why is that? And he looks over at me, he goes, we're all on it, aren't we? And I was just like, what in the world? I'm so one with the world, or with the earth today. We're all on it, aren't we? And he just was so happy. I was like, are you high? And he's like, no, I'm just happy. And I don't know why he was, but like that, just the way he did that. And he would do those things all the time. And I just really loved that because it was out of the norm. Because it was normal. You know what I mean?
Damien, yeah. But Damien, he's the Mexican guy with the afro.
He was,
right?
yeah.
He was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was a pretty cool guy. I actually really enjoyed his company. I really liked that guy. He cracked me up.
At first, I thought he was a punk, but then...
Yeah, me too, but no.
And I got to know him, but
yeah. No, it was fun. There was a time where we had to call... What was the code for the LP?
LP, what do you mean?
You went over the
LP.
intercom and you were like, oh, loss prevention, you know, AP. Or whatever.
Yeah,
Asset protection.
Assistant Manager Franklin.
Assistant Manager Franklin. Okay, so I'm gonna say that just so every Walmart can get effed. But if you hear Assistant Manager Franklin over the intercom, they're calling loss prevention or asset protection, and someone's going to come around and, you know, snoop at you while you're stealing stuff. So be on the lookout for that. I don't care about Walmart. Screw them. They can change the name because of me. But one day he caught someone stealing in toys, which was the place that he worked at, and he goes, "Hey, can you call asset protection?" I was like, "No, here." And I gave him a walkie-talkie. It was like, "Call Assistant Manager Franklin." And he was new. He was new. And you know how it is when you're new. You don't want to talk on the intercom because you don't, you know, there are a lot of different variables. But he grabs the mic, the walkie-talkie, and he looks at it. And then he drops it. He goes, "No, I'm not getting fired." And he walks away. And I was like, "What? You're not?
What the
You're not, what? You're not gonna get fired?" He goes, "What if I'm wrong? What if they're not stealing?" I was like, "It's better safe than sorry." He goes, "I'm not calling. You call." I was like, "I didn't see it happen." He goes, "I'm not calling. You know what? Let him steal." And he walked away. I couldn't believe it. I thought that was the funniest thing. He would crack me up, man.
That's not the thing. If you're suspicious of people stealing, you call them and you tell them what you see, and they just tail him.
Yeah. He was like, I'm not getting fired for that."
Yeah, that's funny.
I was like, "You won't get fired. You won't get fired at all." He's like, "How do you know?" I was like, "I call all the time." I wish to God that I could just call on the intercom and be like, "Hey, ugly white dude with the wife beater on, stop stealing, you idiot. Get away from the Legos." Like, I wish to God I could do that. Like, that would just be the greatest thing. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to own a store where I can do that. This is fantastic.
All right. I don't know about you, but I got one thing that people need to hear about because it's honestly one of the greatest stunts I've pulled.
Is this the one with what's her nuts?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
No. What was the night lady's name?
Debbie, Teresa.
No. The one where she was like, "Here, I have your your handheld."
Oh,
you gotta tell.
Oh, yeah, Tanea.
Tanea.
Yeah, okay.
You gotta tell
I
that.
forgot all about
that was
that
the
one.
best
Okay.
story I've ever heard. When Michael told me about you, he told me that story, and I was like, I want to meet this guy. You gotta tell that story.
Out of all the things I should have gotten fired for, was probably that. So I can't believe I got fired. Like, the people listening already know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I can't believe I got fired for joking about jumping on a pallet.
And your badge, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what happened. Okay. We just got these new handhelds. They're like the MC 500s or something, or MC Hammer. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's MC something.
Right.
Anyway, they're these new technologically, that's in quotes, improved handhelds, and I guess they costed $800 a piece. So needless to say, our managers really wanted to keep a check on them. And this is like the first month they came in, so they were really anal about it.
Yeah.
So we were busy. We weren't actually busy towards the end of the night, which they were talking to me about. But anyway, yeah, they were busy, and we were turning in our handhelds, and Tanea, it was someone, I think it was Michael himself. He was like, "Hey, Mike, I need your handheld." And I was like, "Nah, dude, you're not my boss. I got it. I can turn it in myself." And Tanea, who was, she was the department manager over, I think, or was she support? It was too long ago. She was a higher up. And she was like, "Hey, Michael, you need to give me your handheld." And I looked at her and I was like, "I have a handheld for you." And she walked right up to me and got in my face. And she was about as skinny as I was, but it didn't matter. She walked up and was like, "Hey, I can beat the shit out of you." I had 5 older brothers, so.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that. Like, I don't know what it is about me. I don't know if it's I have too much respect for my bosses, or maybe I just not man enough to do something like that. But to sit there and she go, I need your handheld, and you go, I have a handheld for you. I mean, that is
Yeah.
just like that is fantastic. There wasn't there another story, something like that you did, um, similar to that. Some of Oh, yeah. I remember. I heard this story and it's secondhand, so I don't know if I'm gonna tell it well. It was when they found the
Oh, the meth,
yeah,
the
the
whatever it
needle,
was.
the heroin needle.
Oh God, that was another good one. All right, so let me give the backstory.
Sure.
There was a wall, like we had a 2 truck night, and there was a wall of brake packs
Yeah.
behind me.
Yeah.
So there was that. The previous night, AP Taylor, who was recently on duty, he uh he found the meth pipe, or it was actually really just a cutout thing of a tin can that someone used to smoke with.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it was used for meth or not. I know it was used for some heavy drug, but they thought it was like a meth pipe. Anyway, so he and I was covering electronics at the time, and he found it in the video section, and it was like, "Hey, Mike, did you see anyone use this or smell anything?" And I was like, "No, I mean I just got here. I'm covering someone's brakes, so." And it was like, "You know what this is, right?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of obvious. They're smoking some heavy drug." And
Hmm.
it was like, "Yeah, it's used for meth." And I was like, and I thought to myself, and I was like, well, could be meth, could be heroin.
Right.
I mean, and what was it? China White? I don't know, but you would smoke that off of aluminum tinfoil, not meth. But anyway, I was like, yeah, well, I know it's used for some heavy drug. Is you can smoke weed off that? That's for sure. I wouldn't anyway. And he was like, yeah, well, and you didn't see anyone smoke? And I was like, no, no, I don't know if that's been there for a while or not. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I just gotta search the videos. So he walked back. End of that day. The next day, Daisy Daisy comes in when we're unloading the truck, and halfway through, and I got the wall of brake packs, and she was like, "Hey, look at what was found yesterday," and it clicked in my head. I was like, "Oh my God, is she really? Is she really just gonna freaking
Yeah.
come up and broadcast that?"
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta turn this around.
Yeah.
And I just burst behind a wall of brake packs, and I looked at Daisy and I was like, Daisy, that is mine. You gotta give it back. I have nothing else to smoke with. And she gave me the most dumbfounded look and walked
Oh
away.
my god.
And Austin was like, yeah, you shouldn't be telling managers that, Michael.
Austin had his
Like,
nose so far at the manager's butts. Like, I love the kid, but man.
he did and he didn't.
Yeah,
It's,
it depended on the scenario, but like,
yeah.
when you got fired, when you got fired, and I walked in, and I was like, "Did you hear that Michael got fired?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah, I heard," and I was like, Are you, "For such a stupid reason." He just told me the reason. What a stupid reason. And Austin goes, "It's all right." It's like, it's not all right.
No.
That was a dumb reason. He's like, it's the manager's decision. It's all right. What? No, that was stupid. I step on brake packs or step on pallets all the time.
Yeah.
Literally step on them all the time. Michelle has seen me do it. She looked away. Jim saw me do it, and good old what's his nuts, Roger would do it all the time.
I love Roger. He was cool too.
He was bigger than all of us combined. He'd step on
Yeah.
those pallets, like in front of other managers. Nobody cared. But then all of a sudden, new management comes in. They got to show how big their balls are, and they got to hire or fire people just for saying so. That's idiotic. He
Yeah.
was one of our most valuable assets, and you just got rid of him. Got rid of him. Jeez.
Dallas was pissed. He yelled at Travis, I guess. When Dallas told me that, I didn't believe him, but Garen confirmed it.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like he walked. I guess he walked up to Travis and it's like, so let me get this straight. You fired the only guy, or one of the few only guys that would stay late till 2 a.m. to help finish stocking grocery, which was their job. And I guess the retort was like, yeah, well, I mean, you can't just joke like that. And it was really, he was just too immature, and he just didn't take company policy seriously, so I had no choice. Yeah, I
Jeez.
guess.
You know, and the thing was, like, Dallas, he may have liked you more because, like, Dallas would come up to me and tell me that I wasn't working hard enough.
Yeah, he never said that to me.
I was like, well, maybe it was me. Maybe I wasn't. I don't know. I thought I was doing a pretty good job.
No, you were. No, he would say that to me too. It was like, cause especially when I'm who would I joke around with a lot? Like, I mean, it might have been, yeah, it was Jocelyn. Yeah, I would talk about, because Jocelyn loves anime and she watches the same stuff I do.
Mm.
And so I would be talking about her and talking with her, and he would come up to me and just say, hey, Mike, Jocelyn has something in her hand and stalking, but I don't see what you have. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, I'm just, so I'll get back to work. You're right. Good looking out.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, yeah, well, this has to be done. And he walked off.
Right, yeah. No, that's basically what he'd do to me. He'd come up and he'd give me
Mm,
some backhanded, retorted compliment and
yeah.
something like that, you know. He'd sit there and be like, you know, Barry, your mouth's moving faster than the box. I was in the aisle by myself. I was like, I'm not even talking, if only to customers. What are you talking about? I don't know. I liked him and hated him at the same time. It was one of those things.
I have that feeling with Travis too. It's like he is a good motivator, but
Yeah.
he was also so anal. I mean, about the dumbest things, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. Like the whole top stocking thing, that was ludicrous. So he was really. But I don't know about you. I'm out of stories.
I got one more.
Ah,
Well, I got a few more,
okay.
but
Go for him. Go
I
for him.
could
I
just
want to hear
I
them.
can just do one more at
No, no,
least.
no. Go through the rest because I again I am fresh out.
All right. So you've never met Richard. He was
No.
and he was caught for stealing, like I guess two Black Friday or a Black Friday. My first Black Friday, I guess it was like 2016,
Mm.
and I guess he unfortunately decided he wanted to steal $900 worth of product, but that's neither here nor there. I honestly wish he didn't get caught because he was fun to work with. And this is why we had the best sales technique on earth.
Okay.
They you watch shows and you see good cop, bad cop, and that can be applied to selling equipment.
Okay.
And I can never forget this one. Someone wanted to buy an LCD a cheap ass Sanyo 52-inch LCD TV, and they wanted to compare it to the Samsung. And I was the bad associate, so we played good associate, bad associate.
Okay.
And they walked up to me and was like, "Hey," because I was like, Richard was doing, he was in the aisle behind us. So the video aisle was right next to the TVs, but he was on the other side, so they couldn't see him.
Mm.
But he was listening. He was like, they're like, "Hey," they looked at my badge. I was like, "Oh, hey, Michael. So I want to get a 52-inch TV, and I see this good Sanyo is $500, but I see another 52-inch Samsung. It's $720. Why such a big difference?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. Look at the labels. I mean, the people say Samsung is Korean, so it's better. So, I mean, you can look on Google if you want. You can go home and Google it." Um,
You did not.
yeah, and they looked at me and was like, yeah, but shouldn't you know about the TVs? And I was like, "Oh yeah, I know what this says right here. The Sanyo has 60 hertz, and the Samsung has 120 hertz. So is that worth $200 to you? I don't know. And Richard, he came up and he was like, "I'm sorry about this. He's new and he's also kind of an idiot." And because I was being so rude, they thought that was clever, and they're like, "Yeah, well, I mean, I still don't understand the price difference, Richard." And it's like, "Yeah, okay, well, first of all, because this guy obviously doesn't know what he's doing. He's probably gonna be gone soon. The Samsung is also a smart TV, so you can." And he rattled through the smart TVs.
The benefits, yeah.
Yeah, the benefits, and it's um there's actually just benefits. And so yeah, he rattled through, and they're like, "Oh, so but I mean, why should I go with the Samsung? Because I don't need smart TV benefits. I have a Roku, so why would I need it?" And I was like, "Well, I guess you don't need it." And he was like, "Okay, stop listening to this guy." Cause yeah, I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess you don't need it, so go with the Sanyo. It's cheaper. And he gave me the fake dangerous look, and it was like, "All right, let me break it down to you. The Sanyo is cheaper, but because of that, you are going to need another $200 investment of a warranty, because the Sanyos do break down in less than 6 months, and if you don't buy the warranty, you're out $500. But if you go with the Samsung, it will guaranteed last you 4 years, and you won't need the warranty because it doesn't cover longer than 2. So if you're looking to buy a big TV and you don't want to waste your money, you go with the Samsung, because it will not, I mean, everybody knows it won't die on you as
Right.
fast as the
Yeah,
Sanyo.
yeah.
So he was, so we were able to sell a product, at least I would like to think so, because of the fact that he would come in, swoop in, and show his knowledge.
Right. And you were just like teetle dumber. It
Yeah,
would
and I
just
was like,
sit there.
yeah, well, I mean,
No,
okay,
that's actually very clever, because like they already don't like you from the get-go. They realize that you are
yeah,
stupid, and they don't want to agree with anything you have to say.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fantastic. I love
Oh,
that.
and like, I honestly didn't, because of Richard's customer service, I didn't really, there was no feedback because they were so happy with him.
Right.
They're like, "Well, I mean, this turned out to be a good trip after all."
So
And they
then
wheeled out
they
with the $720
right,
TV.
so they never ever wrote out like a customer complaint or anything.
Hmm.
That's so awesome. That is fantastic.
Like, I feel bad, but also the Samsungs are really good TVs, so they really did save their money in the end,
Right.
because
No,
Senyo will
right,
die.
of course. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what do they say that commercially Samsung has the best picture quality of any TV out there, but I mean, that's just commercially.
Yeah.
If you want a nicer TV, you want to go with like a BenQ or something like that. But yeah, commercially, it has, like, for the price, the best picture quality of
Uh, and their products really do last a
they
lot.
yeah, they do. I mean, my monitor right here is a Samsung. I've had it for like the entire time that I've had my rig. So I mean, yeah.
And I got one more just to wrap it up, unless you have another that you got reminded of. But
No, no.
honestly, I should have told this one first, because this is just a short
No,
story.
that's okay.
Um, yeah. Um. So, oh, there was Kyle too. So there's two. I'll I'll tell the short one first.
Okay.
And the one that's gonna be last is Kyle Cotton, who's completely different from the
Yeah,
Kyle.
yeah, yeah.
So anyway, we were I was wrapping up brake packs, and Kyle, not Cotton. Cotton was kind of a jerk, but what was his last name? Kyle.
Something.
Yeah, Kyle something. We'll just say and it was the same Kyle that I yelled at. Stack it right.
Right.
Yeah, but he was the same Kyle, and he's like, "Hey, got a brake pack, but it feels light. I don't know what's in it." And it turned out to be a video game, and a really stupid video game too. It was like Mysteries of the whatever, and it was just puzzles. I
Okay.
hate those things.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, and I was like, "Well, this is dumb. Why would he even package this?" And the other thing, there's only two items. It was that game and a sock, and I kicked the sock up into the air and was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And it bounced off into what toad? Oh yeah, it bounced off into a cosmetic toad.
Yeah.
I looked at the mysteries of the whatever,
Yeah.
and then I looked at Kyle. I was like, "Kyle, would you buy this game?" And it was like, "No, I wouldn't. I don't like puzzle games." And it was like, "Neither do I." And I shoved it up into the steel.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I was like, "Brake pack Phoenix, motherfucker." And dude, he was dying at that point.
Oh my god. That is, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm dying right now. I've never heard that story.
Yeah, I don't think.
So you just, oh my god. So you just threw the game up into the steel.
Yeah,
Oh, instead of.
no one was gonna buy it. And I didn't want to waste my time walking all the way back just to put in the electronics pallet.
No one was gonna buy it. Oh my god, you're so the absolute. Oh man, that killed me. So the socks, you just kicked them, and they ended up in a.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, and I was like, "Ah, fuck it, it'll get to the right place eventually."
oh god, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. That was fantastic. That's one of the best stories I think you've ever told. Ah,
And it's a short story too.
no, that was great. Short, sweet, to the point.
Hmm.
Uh, okay, what's your last story?
I mean, I guess it's not a story, but so I wish I had all the parts with me, but this guy, Kyle, he just took me for a ride.
I remember this. Yeah, Kyle was a
Yeah, he's
retard from what I heard.
he sold me like a $400, not even 400, probably a $300 computer for fucking $700.
Yeah.
And he said everything was custom built, and it was actually a $1,500 computer.
No.
And this is a dumb thing on me.
Yeah.
It's not even with Kyle. I mean, because he was going to the army, so he had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, I have a few of the parts.
No, these parts were bad. I'm not even talking. They were not even close to a $400 computer. They were. This computer was a pre-built from probably 2001.
Well, I wouldn't go that far because I know I have the processor. Anyway, the best part in it was a GTX 560, 1 GB, and the processor was discontinued in 2011.
Oh my god.
And it was obvious it had stock RAM.
Yeah.
And it was 8 GB, which, it's not bad, really.
No. I mean, for stock
But-
RAM, that's not that bad at all.
But it was obviously stock RAM.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like, and he said he could run the highest games on Earth, and I didn't know much about computers at the time,
Right.
so,
Yeah.
and he did. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay, it was an Intel Core i5 2390T,
Okay.
made in Costa Rica, 2.7 gigahertz.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah, it was discontinued in 2011.
jeez. I mean, I guess that is not terrible. I mean, this thing was just. not worth $700, and I
No.
don't know how you could have possibly trusted. You know what's funny too is I don't know how you could have possibly trusted anyone after that point, but you let me build you a computer after that, you know?
But I was also looking at the parts,
Right,
so
yeah.
like you do like to troll, but you are also a straight shooter. So you're like, I knew you like to fuck with people, but
Yeah.
you're not gonna rip them off.
No. No.
And you weren't making anything from it,
No,
so
I wasn't. So, like, what would be the point of me ripping you off for no reason, you know? And I wanted you to have a nice PC, you know, because you got screwed over by that guy, you know?
yeah. Austin was pissed too. He was so mad
Mm-hmm.
when he looked at my computer.
Yeah.
He was like, this is Kyle is freaking irresponsible for doing this to you. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even understand. How much did you pay for it, Mike? I was like 700. It's like, dude, this guy's a piece of shit. I thought he was. No, he was not happy.
No. No, and he was. No, seriously, like if you listed all the specs, I mean, which you listed most of the important ones, it's just
Yeah.
yeah, that was not good.
And I don't know about it. It was like a gigabyte hard drive, but I'm sure it was still stock because it was riveted in.
Ah, jeez. And that was Walmart. Ah, God. I don't think that you and I, Michael, will ever do any more Walmart stories because I think that's really all we have. I think if we ever come together again, we'll do either a podcast or we'll do a couple random topics.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you again so much for joining me here, and I just. You know, I do really enjoy doing these as much as I am going to enjoy watching it later when I edit it. But I hope you guys did enjoy this second Coworkers episode. It was like one of the most requested things, believe it or not. And I'm really glad you guys liked Michael as much as you did. So thank you guys
Me too.
so much. Yeah, I'm sure you appreciate it too. Thank you guys so much, and thank you again, Michael. Say goodbye, buddy.
All right. Well, goodbye, guys. And I guess unless Barry's a liar, which I doubt, but you have requested to view that if I had a channel, I am wanting to make one, but I just don't know. I just don't know how to go about it yet. So if I do, it's going to be about random, for the most part, serious topics. So if you're interested in that, cool. If not,
I'll definitely let them know as soon
yeah.
as I have it, because I think that you know, depending on your content, I think it'd actually be a wild ride. So
Right.
anyway, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, have a good night.
Bye.